you're going to pull. And you're going to keep pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling. There we go. Welcome back to the community, everybody, and thank you all for being part of it. And thank you very, very much who all showed up last week to the picnic. I really appreciate you very much. I discussed that at the end of last week's video, though, about the upcoming one. Today, I'm going to go ahead and do handbrake cable replacement. Now, let me explain something. What I'm doing is reusing my German cables that are still very in nice condition, but I am going to take it apart, remove them, and put them back in, but I'm taking them out so I can clean, grease them, and make them like new again. There's no point in wasting money. That's what this channel's about. But if you do have to buy new ones, they're not horribly expensive. But I thought, why not do a video on handbrake cable replacement? So I'm going to go ahead and show you pulling it apart and all that jazz. So let's get on it. Do you remember VW Trends magazine? It was away for 16 years. Well, in spring of 2021, VW Trends came back into existence. So go down into the description below and subscribe to this great magazine. There it is. You notice the car's jacked up already on jack stands. I'll show you where I put the jack stands at. And also I wanted to tell y'all, I did watch the comments section, a poll I ran on Facebook, and truthfully, I am going to go ahead and re-index the torsions with the factory German arms. I was going to go adjustable plates, but a lot of people brought something to my attention which made sense. Not everybody can afford to run out and spend $150 plus shipping for adjustable plates. Keep it simple. And that's what I'm going to do because I listen to what you folks want to see. Next week, we're going to go ahead. I'm waiting on the bushings. You got to put new bushings in. They're cheap, $16, I think. And we'll go ahead and adjust the reliefs. Let's get the e-brakes done. All right, let me pop the wheel off real quick. I'll show you where I have the jack stand sitting in a second. And we got two holding it on. Because I'm in the garage. I'm not driving it. Nice big meaty tires. I love it. Now, obviously, you're going to have a cotter pin on your spindle nut. Okay, so remove your cotter pin. Whoops, too long. It was already off. Remember, I'm checking something a minute here. Yeah, always clean your threads nice. Works very well. If you're having a stubborn time, this is what I do. What I am showing here is the torque multiplier. Now, you do not need to go out and buy one. I'm just showing you what I used. You can use a 4-foot cheater pipe on a breaker bar, but the torque multiplier makes a huge difference. You barely feel like you're turning it to tighten or loosen, and it rips it right apart. That's how you get them off with ease. For stubborn ones, and to torque them much easier. I have my jack stands on the torsion tubes, as you can see. Sorry, I'm laying on my back trying to hold the phone with one hand. And that is a nice stable part. I did a video on jacking up the Beetle and things of that nature, where to put your jack stand. So hopefully it was helpful. It's down in the description. If you did need emergency brake cables or handbrake cables, they're down in the description, the link to them also. Okay. So let's go ahead and start on this. Get the cable pulled out. I'll show you how to do it. Come on. All right, so I'll bring you up close in 1 second. I wanted to bring something up before we disassemble this. If you have a knob that's sticking out and hanging out and won't do anything, I'm going to show you how to fix that while we got it apart. So come up close here. All right, so mine I had this apart already. Locking nuts on it. You should have locking nuts, okay? So remove your locking nuts. And if you notice, there is a little slot on these cables to put a screwdriver in. So if you have to and they won't loosen, you can put your wrench on, 10 millimeter, put your screwdriver in the slot, and then you can hold it while you're loosening. That should make pretty much good sense. So I already have these loosened up for filming purposes. Let's get the other nut off of here. And of course your cables will fall, which is normal. Okay, while I'm in here, I'm going to remove this handle, Okay, you don't have to, but I'm going to do another demonstration while it's apart, and I'm going to paint it. So let's go ahead and take the handle off, and then we'll go to the back, disconnect the e-brake cables, which is what I call them, handbrake cables, and pull them out. Let's do it. All right. Now remember, you don't have to remove your handle. I'm killing two birds with one stone. I want to repaint this, and also, of course, I want to show you about the cat's paw inside in case your knob becomes disconnected. So put a little cloth right here, because when you pull the washer right here, I'm sorry, the split ring, snap ring, whatever you want to call it, circlip, it's going to go down inside of there, and then you won't be happy. I have a pair of snap ring pliers, but I don't feel like wanting to get them out of the drawer. Okay, there is the circlip, snap ring, whatever you want to call it. You're going to take, if you need to, if it's sticking a little bit, and push that, and that pin will come out. Okay, we're going to clean, polish, and grease that for smoother operation. And you're going to lift up and remove your handle. And there's your handbrake cables just flopping around in the wind. Not a care in the world. I repeat, you do not have to remove your handbrake assembly itself. So somebody don't go in the comments and say,
you don't have to remove your handbrake. He did it wrong.
Yeah, I see that stuff a lot. Okay, I'm going to repaint mine, but there's an important thing I'm going to show you inside the mechanism, because yours eventually will do something stupid and you'll have to take it apart. Okay, let's get the cable off. All right, so we've already got the castle nut off. Reflecting back to this part, slide the drum off. Now, I know, I'm always telling you crap. All right, I got you up close and personal. Now, here is your e-brake cable or your handbrake cable come around and hooked onto here. We're going to go around first and unhook it from the back. You're going to need a 13mm socket and a small ratchet. One thing I might add, I know, shut up. With your splines here, take a look at them while you have it apart. Is the splines clean? You can get yourself a little brass brush. Brass brush. Remember that. Clean them up real nice. Clean the threads up. Clean the splines. When you do these things, it's like doing maintenance that nobody tells you about. And it honestly, everything will work smoother. Okay? So clean all this up. Check your wheel cylinder while you're in here. Check for leaks. Check your, this is a swing axle, but IRS still the same with the cable. Check and see, do I have any leaks? Do I need new gaskets and seals? Okay. Do I need to remove the brake shoes and lubricate the slides for where the brake shoes move? Do I need to go ahead and take the adjusters off and clean them up? Clean the threads, use anti-seize while it's apart. I know I aggravate you guys about this stuff, but it's better than being alongside the road somewhere when something goes wrong. All right, first, I don't know if I'll get this by hand. I'm going to try. You're going to push this bar that way. Now watch something though, so you understand how these operate if you're new to it, okay? When you pull your handbrake handle up, it pulls the cable that way. So when you pull the cable that way, watch this shoe. You use two hands. See how it kicks out? This will go up against the drum, holding the cart in place. Kind of a crap example, but you know what I mean. So I'm going to push this forward, put that back, and remove the cable there. Now we're going to go from behind and unbolt the bracket. We are behind the backing plate. So you see a 13mm bolt there and your cable going through it. So let's go ahead, try to stay out of your way here, and loosen that up. Let me get the extension off. There we go. That way I'm kind of holding it out of the way. You're going to remove the 13mm head, that is. Almost there. Like I said, I don't use my fancy guns sometimes because not everybody has them in their garage. So I try to keep it simple. There's your bolt. It should have a lock washer, but I already had that off. And you're going to pull your cable and the little little part will come out with it. There we go. I'll show you that at the workbench. Pull your cable out, let it hang. So your cable is hanging free, dangling at the bottom of the car. You're going to go ahead, remember you have it disconnected up front, right? Okay, you're going to pull, and you're going to keep pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling. There we go. Now I'm going to bring you up close and personal, but before I do that, your e-brake cable / handbrake cable, don't throw them out. Do not do that, okay? If you're installing new ones, wait until they arrive, measure, make sure they match. Trust me on that, just like your clutch cable. It's always something, just trying to protect you. Come on. Now I'm going to reuse mine because there's nothing wrong with them, but I wanted to clean them up. So here's the end that goes into the brake shoe, okay? I want to clean all of this up. I want to soak this so it's nice and clean. I'll clean up the outer casing slightly. I'm not as worried about that. However, I want to clean up the cable itself all the way through. I know this is weird. Look at that. Whew. So I want to clean up the threads real nice, and we're going to re-grease the cable. That was an awkward thing, you know, to try to show you, but I want the cable to move nice and smooth. So we're going to grease that up. That was hard to show you that way. I had to bring the cable up close, and it's like 5 feet long. So, but you get the idea. Now I'm going to go ahead and take this handbrake lever and take it apart. So I'm going to go ahead and push the button, remove this out, take your spring out. Okay, now you don't have to do all this. Remember, I'm repainting mine, so I'm doing it while I got it apart. But this, you want to clean all this up if you do take it apart. Mine is already done. You're going to wire wheel that until it looks like that, until it looks brand new. You can go ahead, unthread. Okay. Take your little rubber washer. I kind of unwind it even though it's not threaded itself. Remove your spring. Okay, and then you're going to clean this up. Mine is already done. See? But you want to clean this up very, very nicely. And then when we're done painting, give me a minute. I'll time lapse it for you so it can sit overnight and dry, but I'll be back in a few minutes. I'm going to show you how all this mechanism works, and then we're going to install the brake cables. Anytime you're painting, you're going to let stuff sit 24 hours, but with editing and filming, it'll be 24 hours. My time, 2 seconds your time. Now, before I went ahead and decided to do this, I got lucky. One of my buddies brought home an old, lathe for cutting drums, and from his dad's business that he's closed down. So I ran over and cut my drums real quick. I was really happy with the outcome. All right, it's been 24 hours, and I did a matte black on mine because I already had to paint, and I'm so tired of spending more and more money. So it came out pretty good. Take a look. I like it. Instead of the gloss, our little VW logo, but I like the matte look. I thought that was pretty cool for a change. Okay, let's put this back together first. All right, so we have our handbrake. You may not even be doing this part, but if your button's hanging out and isn't working, you'll want to do this, okay? But I'm doing it while I got it apart because I wanted to paint it. So if you do that and have to put it back together, well, you know the deal now. So we're going to slip our spring back on, put our little rubber on there, call it a little rubber spacer or whatever. I always wind it on because it is what it is. Put your little button back on. Okay. Now, when you're putting this inside of here, there's your cat's paw. Now, not the part with the teeth, okay, but this part. This is what this hook goes around there, okay? So, slide this in, hook down. So you see how this part goes inside that hook. So you're going to push the button and hold it so this sits down. You're going to have this here fit around that up inside. So you've already got your cat's paw in the hook and lined up. Put that in and let the button go. All right. So you're together. When you push this, then you can move this up and down. See how it grabs the teeth? And you're good to go. Let's get this in the car. Now I went ahead and I cleaned my original German cable up. Obviously you're going to be using a new cable if that's why you're watching this video. But I'm going to go ahead and guide this through. I'll bring you under the car with me here, and then I'll show you how to catch it up inside and do it properly. All right, so underneath the car there, and you see your brake line. I got all my nice new cool looking brake lines. There's the hole that we pulled it out of. Now, you're going to go ahead and shove some grease up through that hole if you would like to. I already did. So you want to pump some grease through the tube, but you can shove stuff up through there and clear it out. I did clean, as you can see, although they're going to get dirty once I put them up through, but I got the heavy stuff off. You're going to go ahead, feed it back up through. Now here's what you got to watch, and we'll go inside in a minute. You want to make sure it don't go too far. Keep feeding it, but you want to check once in a while inside so it don't pass up the hole that I'll show you in a second where it needs to come up through. So let's check it real quick. Now I don't see the cable yet. This is the passenger side. I didn't remove it because I didn't think you wanted to watch me do both sides. That would be stupid. I'm watching if the cable, and I can feel just the tip of it. I'm going to push a little more for it to come up through. So hang tight. There we go. Just a little bit at a time, because you're going to want to reach down and bring it up through. Now, and there it is. Now, let me get around the other side. I'll show you what I'm doing. Get a screwdriver here. There we go. And you're going to bring it right up through. So there is the left side now, okay? This is not connected to anything on the other end. All right, let me see if it'll go a little bit further. And as you can see, it did. So these are on each side, and before we put the handle in, I'm going to go to the back with you, and we're going to hook it up at the brake shoe. So we have the cables sticking up inside the car in the tunnel where they're supposed to be. Now we're at the back. I didn't hook the handle up or nothing yet. So we have our brake cable, okay? Now this is the crap part that really stinks, and I know a lot of people cut this out of their videos. I'm not sure why. Here is your little bracket. You have to fiddle with this thing so much, it's ridiculous, because it goes on like that. The cable comes through, and then it hooks onto here behind the washer, and I'll show you close up when I'm doing it. Every video I've seen on these in the past, and this is why I made this real quick, nobody shows putting this on. They just show it already in. Well, you know what? If I have to fiddle with it for 2 or 3 minutes, I'm showing it. So let's go ahead now. I'm going to try to put it in from the back and see how that goes. Sometimes it's a little bit of a pain in the butt. So we have our cable here. Okay, I think I have the camera kind of close. Here's our little hole. See that? This will go on like that, and it bolts from behind, and I will show you that. I'm going to try to put the cable in. Okay. Let me see if I do this way through the back. Come on, get in there. Almost. There we go. Almost. Alrighty. Now I got to go around the back and bolt it on. But you see that. I hope that makes sense to you. When I'm done, I'll take pictures and then it'll all make sense. So let's go to the back and bolt it on first. I'm trying to make sure I have it seated properly. Okay. All right, so here's that bracket. I'll probably be in your way just for a second while I start the bolt. But you can see where this bracket goes like that and the bolt goes in. But I'm going to get up close and show you as soon as I get the bolt tightened up what the deal is, and it will all make sense to you and you'll be happy. You'll hit the lottery. Well, probably won't hit the lottery, but okay, we got the bolt started. It is a 13mm head with a lock washer. Let me straighten this a little. I don't like the way it's sitting. There we go. And then we go around the front, hook the cable up, go inside, hook up the handle, and then we're going to talk about adjustment. There you go. Don't over tighten, don't be an idiot. Okay, let's go around the front of here. So we got the cable securely bolted in with its bracket. Now you're going to hook it on to the arm. Okay, so you're just going to take your little hoop here. Now remember before when I showed you this, when you pull on your handle, watch this shoe. See that? It goes up against the drum and keeps the car from moving. You're going to hook this under here. You don't have it hooked up at the handle yet, okay? Don't do that. So let's hook this on. See if it gives me a hard time on camera. Come on. Almost. And there we go. Okay, now, of course, you're going to see some slack here because it isn't pulled up at the handle, so don't put your brake drum on yet. But this is all secured. Make sure you have the washer on the right side, as you can see in the picture here. And we're going to leave the drum off. We're going to go inside, and we're going to take up all this slack so it pulls it out of this. So let's go inside. So now we're inside this luxury car, and you see your cables are sticking up in the air here, okay? Remember, don't tangle them across each other. Make sure your right is right and your left is, that's right, left. Okay, let's get our handle. Make sure you take the pin that slides through here. Make sure you polish it and clean it up and grease it. So, one thing I'll show you, you probably already know this, maybe you don't. When the handle is in the car and you're pulling up, pulling down, up, down, up, down, up, down, your cables will ride right in them little recessed gullies, okay? So let's go put this sexy thing in. I love the matte look. Now, here is the little pin slash shaft that will slide through here to hold the brake handle in place. Here is the little clip that I removed from it. If in fact you need to, you can squeeze this together. So if it's too loose, you know, it don't fly off. So squeeze that together a little bit with a pair of needle nose to make it tighter. All right, so I'm coming in from the other side, and we're going to check our cables. They're coming through straight. We are going to go ahead and make sure the cables come up around these gullies, so to speak. So you're going to put your handle down in, make sure they're coming up around it, which they are. Our pin, we lost it. Oh, there it is. Okay. So we're going to take our pin, line up a hole. I can't see it. Come on. Come on. There we go. And we still want to make sure. Nope. Pull back up. It actually slipped around. There we go. And it will make sense when you see the picture close up. There we go. So we are going to go ahead now, cover our hole like I had mentioned earlier, so we don't drop the clip down in. And we're going to push our little clip on. I'll show you in a second. There we go. So now this cannot come out. So now we are going to go ahead and hook our cable up. So we got to drop the handle all the way down. We have our cables ready. I don't know what other way to put the camera, but hopefully you can see it. Okay, that's about the best I'm going to be able to do with the camera angle, and then I'll take more pictures, of course. So we're going to take our little bracket here. We're going to bring our cables up, just like that. Okay. And I'll start this one first since they're slack with the nut, because the other side's not connected up at all. Just a couple turns, that's all. Nothing crazy. Whoops. Back on your pivot. And let's start this nut on. Okay. Let me take my 10 millimeter. Now, if you have to, you can put a little wrench on here, or you can put a screwdriver in here to hold it. I'll do it for you. Run the end of the cable, and then you can hold it so it doesn't turn. Okay. So we're doing that, and you want to level this. Now remember, now this side's not hooked up yet. You want both sides hooked up. This is just for entertainment purposes. Okay. So I'm going to go to the back now. Okay, for right now, I got it tightened up enough inside. This won't hit anything. Now, when we adjust the cable more, it'll pull this a little more flatter in here, is what it'll do. But we're all set back here. So now, time to put on my nice clean drum. Well, my dirty hands were all over it, so not too clean. Come on, get on there. Like that. Let me get the nut because I left it on the workbench. Again, a little brass brush, not a metal brush, a brass brush, so you don't chew up your metal. When your threads are clean, everything just works so nice. So nice. As Heather would say, so nice. She says that a lot. It's really creepy. Okay. Let me snug this up. Hold your ears. There we go. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to torque this to the specified torque setting for it. Now, I, again, use the torque multiplier. I think I have it on video. So I'm showing the torque multiplier again on one of my older videos, and look up the specs for yourself, but it makes it so much easier to torque. You torque this to the proper spec and put your cotter pin in, okay? After that, what I recommend before you tighten up the cables, which we'll do inside in a moment, is you want to go ahead and adjust your rear brakes. So adjust your rear brakes. If you go to the playlist on the channel, you'll see that I have a complete index of the videos, and there is a brake adjustment video in there to make it easier. Now that you've adjusted the rear brake, then we're going to go ahead and adjust the e-brake cable, but I'm going to show you how to finish up putting that together inside. Now what you're going to do is pull up 2 clicks. 1, 2. Whoop. 1, 2. Right there, that's it. Don't go no further. Now you're going to go ahead and snug these up a little bit. Try to keep it like even, if that makes sense. You're going to go around the back of the car and you're going to check and spin each wheel. See if it has about the same tension on the back. You don't want to hear it scraping, but you want them somewhat close, okay? And you could end up adjusting these back and forth maybe 10, 15 times, so be patient. But you may tighten this one and it'll pull this tighter, so you've got to go back and forth. When you do that and you get the same amount of tension on each wheel back there, and you spin them and they go maybe about a turn and a half and stop, like there's just no drag, but just you can tell that they're close to the drum. Then release this, make sure they spin free because you've had it 2 clicks up. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You want 5 clicks and them back wheels should not move. So I hope that made sense. So before we go over a couple of things to end the video, again, I know I've been bringing up the picnic a lot and then the brunch after the day of the picnic here. My buddy Oliver showed up. And he brought his family with him, which was cool. That young man showed me a video that made me smile. He has a mini bike. Some of us grew up with the mini bikes, okay? Tecumseh Motors, Briggs & Stratton. He had our stickers on it from the club. That made me smile so much for a young man like that to be so enthused with this community that's coming together strongly, and his parents are awesome too. And I asked him to send me a video. He didn't do it on his own. I'm like, I want to see you on this mini bike because he lives out of state.
There he goes.
And that's what he sent me. Oliver, thanks for being part of it all. I really appreciate that. And thank you for coming to the house and hanging out with all of us. You're a cool dude, buddy. Can't wait to see you again. That is your handbrake cable replacements. Now, I used my factory German ones, and I'm going to use the other one on the other side. But I only did one because you don't want to see me do both sides. I want to thank you all for being here. Don't forget Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. Share the channel, hit the notification bell, and join the live chat with us Sunday night at 9. Thank you all for being here, folks. It's a hot one. We blistered through it. Next week's video is going to be fun. We're re-indexing the torsions in the back to level the car out. So stay tuned.